The Voxarians had conquered 17 solar systems before reaching Earth. Their crystalline ships, resembling shattered diamonds suspended in void, surrounded humanity's orbital defenses with casual superiority. Mankind's greatest weapons barely scratched their hulls. Captain Thomas Reed watched from the command deck of Earth's flagship Resilience as the alien armada positioned itself. His weathered face revealed nothing, but his knuckles whitened as he gripped the console. "They're hailing us again, sir," Lieutenant Anna Rees reported, her voice steady despite the circumstances. Reed nodded. On screen, the holographic display flickered to life, revealing a tall, bipedal figure with iridescent scales and 6 amber eyes arranged in a hexagonal pattern. The Voxarian High Commander's mouth, a vertical slit ringed with small barbs, twitched in what humans have learned was an expression of disdain. Asterisk, your species continues to disappoint. Asterisk, the alien's voice rasped through the translator. Asterisk, we expected more resistance from beings who claimed to be intelligent. Asterisk. Reed's jaw tightened. For 3 months, humanity had fought, negotiated, and pleaded, only to be met with contempt. The Voxarians viewed humans as barely evolved primates, unworthy of diplomatic consideration. "We request another meeting," Reed said. "We believe cultural understanding." Asterisk, understanding requires equals. Asterisk, the Voxarian interrupted. Asterisk, your primitive approximation of culture does not qualify. Prepare your world for integration. Resistance will only determine your species' utility class within our hierarchy. Asterisk. The transmission ended abruptly. Reed turned to the woman standing quietly in the shadows of the bridge, Dr. Eleanor Wright, Earth's foremost xenolinguist. For weeks, she had immersed herself in the limited Voxarian communications they had intercepted, searching for anything that might give humanity leverage. "Well, Doctor," Reed asked, "we're running out of options." Eleanor stepped forward, her eyes bright with the intensity that had made her the youngest department head at the Institute of Xenological Studies. "I found something," she said, "in the oldest transmissions, the ones from their fleet's central archive vessel. They contain phonological patterns absent from their current speech." "Meaning?" "Their language has evolved, or rather been deliberately altered. There are specific sound combinations they no longer use, syllable structures that have been systematically eliminated." Reed frowned. Why would they erase parts of their own language? "That's what I intend to find out," Eleanor replied. "I need to speak with them directly." The meeting chamber aboard the Voxarian command ship gleamed with metallic surfaces that reflected light in uncomfortable patterns. Eleanor stood with Reed and 2 security officers, facing 7 Voxarians across a long, curved table. The High Commander regarded them with open contempt. Asterisk, state your purpose. Asterisk, he demanded. Asterisk, this concession was granted only to observe your species' diplomatic rituals before formalization of surrender terms. Asterisk. Eleanor stepped forward before Reed could respond. Asterisk, we come to exchange knowledge. Asterisk. She began in standard Voxarian. The aliens showed no reaction. They had heard humans struggle with their language before. Eleanor took a deep breath and continued, but now her speech shifted. The sound she produced became deeper, more resonant, with trilling vibrations and guttural stops that seemed impossible for human vocal cords. The effect was immediate. The Voxarians recoiled as if struck. Their amber eyes widened, membranes flicking rapidly across their surfaces. Asterisk, the songs of the ancients echo still. Asterisk, Eleanor continued in the strange dialect. Asterisk, all the children forget, the stars remember. Asterisk. The High Commander rose abruptly, his composure shattered. His subordinates began hissing and clicking to each other in agitation. Asterisk, how do you know the forbidden tongue? Asterisk, he demanded, his translator struggling with his suddenly altered speech patterns. Eleanor met his gaze steadily. We studied your history, the records your people tried to erase. We learned of the schism. The chamber fell silent. 3,000 years ago. Eleanor continued in English, allowing the translator to work. Your species underwent a cultural revolution. The ruling caste, the engineers, were overthrown by the warrior and merchant castes. But the engineer's power came from their connection to your ancestral knowledge, encoded in a sacred language that only they were permitted to learn. The High Commander's barbed mouth twisted. Asterisk, you know, nothing asterisk. I know the revolution erased that language to consolidate power. I know your current military hierarchy fears its return. And I know, Eleanor added, her voice softening, that fragments of it survived in your oldest records, which your people refused to analyze for fear of political consequences. Reed watched in amazement as the Voxarian's posture changed. The contempt was replaced by something else, uncertainty, perhaps even fear. Asterisk, what do you want? Asterisk, the High Commander asked. Partnership, Eleanor replied, not conquest or subjugation. Your ancestors were builders and philosophers before they became conquerors. We've translated enough of their writings to know they valued knowledge exchange above all else. She shifted back to the ancient dialect, speaking words that made the Voxarians twitch with recognition of something long buried in their cultural memory. 2 weeks later, Reeves stood at the observation deck, watching as most of the Voxarian fleet departed Earth's orbit. Eleanor joined him, exhaustion evident in her eyes but satisfaction in her smile. They're actually leaving, Reed marveled. How much of their ancestral language did you actually decode? Eleanor laughed. Enough to frighten them. Enough to make them realize humans might understand their past better than they do themselves. She paused. And enough to know their ancestors would be ashamed of what they'd become. Will they return? Yes, Eleanor said, but not as conquerors. The High Command has agreed to send scholars instead of warriors. They've buried their history for so long that they're desperate to recover it. Reed shook his head in wonder. So humanity saves itself by becoming the caretakers of alien cultural heritage. It's rather poetic, isn't it? Eleanor smiled. They came expecting primitives and found instead the curators of their forgotten wisdom. As the last crystalline ships vanished into hyperspace, Reed reflected that perhaps humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or technology, but in its endless curiosity, the drive to understand even those who came to destroy them. The stars had new stories to tell, and humans would be there to listen.